and welcome to the Engerati studio, live at the European Utility Week. My name is Sophia and I'm joined by Tim Buchner, COO at Mercatus. Hi Tim, how are you today?
Very good.
Brilliant, so let's kick off this interview. So
Great.
Tim, tell us a little bit more about Mercatus.
So Mercatus is a company that's actually helping transform utilities with disruptive software that we are creating a category around called Energy Investment Lifecycle Management. We've been in business for close to 9 years, and part of the reason why we're here today is we're coming to Europe, helping both European utilities as well as North American utilities with this digital transformation.
So Tim, what do you mean by digitally transform or digitalization?
So most organizations really are evolving considerably in how they manage data and don't. And so what we think about in digitalization is how an organization collaborates, how an organization centralizes data, and the importance of having that across the life cycle. So we think of digitalization as a complete end-to-end life cycle.
Okay, and how do we achieve digital transformation and what are the key benefits?
So organizations today really struggle with starting with how to centralize data. And so most business functions live in data silos. And so they really work with IT teams to deploy software on their own. So they naturally live in these data silos. And they never were designed to actually bridge data across the different silos. And so for us, we really help them centralize that data, but then also take them out of silos in how to collaborate across business functions, so across workflows. So the third step is to take it, so first step is to centralize, second step is to work across and collaborate across the life cycle. Third step is to then take that and use that in analytics to be able to say, how do I best use business intelligence to see how that data then flows naturally.
Okay, so once you have received the digital transformation, where does enterprise go from there?
So we think when we think about the future of where enterprises go is that enterprises today are having to think about not only, you asked about advantages as well, not only what do I do in this journey of becoming a digital transformed utility, where they go from here is how do I ensure that I have compliance, speed, the key advantages of having an investment lifecycle manager. We think that one of the most important things is thinking about like how blockchain did to Bitcoin. It's the same that how we think investment lifecycle management is to a utility.
Okay, so you help energy companies to digitally transform their business. How does Mercatus differentiate from other vendors that offer the same solution? Or
yeah, so when we think about differentiation, most of this industry in the utility sector today lives on premise.
Yeah.
And so as a result of living on premise, it's very difficult for them to evolve quickly. So one of the key differentiators is we're one of the very few cloud computing companies in the market. In addition, we're really one of the very few that are designed specifically for the industry. And so we think that actually a huge differentiator is really understanding the customer, because most of our staff actually comes from being part of a utility.
okay.
The last thing is that we are end-to-end. So we think of it as a complete life cycle, from an idea of an asset all the way through to its end of life. And so each of the business functions can collaborate across the life cycle. Those are huge differentiators.
Okay, understood. So we have time for a last question.
Sure.
So we are here at the conference, European Utility Week. Why are you here? What are you most looking forward to?
Yeah, so I would say that Energy Utility Week for us is always pushing us in our thought processes, because the European utilities are about 5 years ahead of the North American utilities. And being a North American company that came to Europe about 3 years ago, we're always looking to this conference to help us push ourselves in what's next. What are these utilities focused on so that we can bring that across the globe? And so I would say that what I'm looking for this year is to really know fundamentally how has the utility mindset changed. And what I will say is that digital transformation is a much bigger term this year. I spoke on it at this conference last year. Most people scratched their heads and looked at me funny. This year, people are leaning in a little bit more. So I think this is becoming a more and more important topic, and that excites us for sure.
So a curious question.
Yeah.
What will we talk about next year then in the conference? Like what will be the innovation, like the next big step, let's say, in your opinion, of course?
Yeah, so it's a very broad question. For us, where we're looking at, I would say next year for us is a year of growth.
Okay.
It's a year of trying to drive to having, I would say, a new network of nodes, meaning how does a utility collaborate with the market? Where we see the future for our company is looking out 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. We see a real opportunity actually for there being a true network effect of not only having an investment life cycle internally, but also externally. And so what I'm really excited about is when you think about the pervasiveness of having an investment lifecycle manager, being able to have banks and different development teams, all that are external to the organization, all collaborating, we think there's a pretty interesting network effect to occur for us next year.
Okay, brilliant, and I think it's a great place to bring things to a close. Thank you very much, Tim, for giving us your time. Thank you for listening, and please feel free to check our Engerati YouTube channel. Goodbye.
Bye.